Okay, our next panelist is Chris Lubeckman, who is with the firm Arup, which is a multinational engineering firm that's responsible for some of our most innovative buildings all over the world. And at Arup, Chris directs the Global Foresight and Innovation Initiative. So I hope we hear about that because it's quite an interesting program. Chris?
Thank you, Susan, and thank you, all of you around the world, for tuning in and being here. You know, and I stand here as a bit of in a paradoxical situation. I feel quite guilty, actually, and I mean that seriously. I flew over from London to talk to you, to talk to the global community about global warming and what we as designers could and should be doing about it. Last week I was in Singapore and Hong Kong. Next week I fly to India, and the week after that I'm going down to South Africa. I spend an awful lot of time in airplanes, far too much time away from the communities which we as designers pledge to create good places, healthy places for us to be living, surviving, thriving, loving and hating and everything else. And yet I'm here because this is something which I think, as we've already heard this morning, this afternoon, this evening from our two previous speakers, we're at a moment that is truly a tipping point. We can't wait any longer. You're a self-selected community today. We've heard 250,000 strong. We need that community to be millions strong. And what I hope is we take away, all of us, of every generation, a desire to help others understand this imperative. And whether it's a 50% goal or a 20% goal, just make a difference and pledge to yourself that you will make a difference. Because everybody in here, as a designer of the built environment, can make a difference. I have 6 assumptions that I work with when I do all of my work, and the first is that change is actually constant. We're not so much interested in change itself, but actually the context of change. And today we're facing a future context which we have never faced before. And so what we're trying to do is understand what that future context is. Because the future is always fiction. It has to be. It's a story that we make up because it will unfold as it unfolds. So no matter what fiction you like, what you like to read, what you like to give to others, think about the story that you would write about our future. What's the story that you believe? Which brings me to the second one. The second is that all of us have 3 ways in which we assess content. We assess our environment: our gut, our heart, and our head. Our head is where we very often start, our net present value. We analyze stuff. We've just heard some fantastic representations of very phenomenal analytical work. Our heart is our belief structure, where we do things because we believe in it. We, the people, believe. And our gut is a very human reaction. You know, human resources people tell us that in 13 seconds you've decided if you're going to hire somebody. You spend 59 minutes rationalizing that decision. Because we on this planet, as we've heard from Jim, we are animals in a way. We are a species. Fortunately, it seems like we're not going to go as extinct as quick as a lot of the other ones are. But we are also animals that have that reaction. What we have to do is understand all 3 of these systems and how they relate to the topic of today. The next working assumption is that of emergence and the power of the web. We today are a manifestation of the power of the Web 2.0, the power of accessing information, of getting out to people so that they understand, they know, and they can emerge an opinion and emerge and make a difference. There is so much fantastic information out there, whether you're in Thailand or Abu Dhabi or in New Mexico or wherever you're sitting, there's so much good information already on the web about how to do good design. It's already there. Just go get it. Make it yours. Make it part of what you're doing every day. It's not rocket science. It really, truly is not. But it takes the effort of going out into that web to allow that content to come out. The next one is that we all have to share a planet. And this is really important. We only have one planet as far as I know. I do enjoy science fiction among other genres, and I don't think we're like one of 3 planets sitting in somebody's fishbowl. We have to understand what it's going to be to live on one planet with those who don't have when they get what we have. The next working assumption is only humans make boxes. There are many wonderful vessels in nature, but there is no such thing as a box in nature. We are the only ones who make boxes and put lids on them. We are the only ones who can take the lids off of those boxes. The only ones who can open our own eyes and understand that outside of those walls, the systems and the interactions and the interlacing of those systems are so deep and profound that it takes a lifetime to truly get in tune with them, but you have to make that first step. Get out of the box. Get rid of the box. And understand that every box is part of a system. The last working assumption that I have is no one person has the key to the future, but all of us do. And this is where I started off saying all of us have to influence 4 others. And those 4 others will influence another 4. And pretty soon, we will have created the parade that all the politicians will want to stand in front of. That's what we have to do. Create the parade which unlocks the future, the power to make the future a much better place and not a much more uncomfortable place. You have to believe in that key, and you have to want to play a part with that key. And if you do, we together can do that better place, that better future. Now, if we take a look at the world's population, the world's planets, the world's population on the planet, there is a graph from the United Nations, which is really fantastic, where you can see where where the growth is happening in the planet. And the growth is essentially happening in the urban areas of the less developed nations of the world. That is where real growth is concerned. Everything else on the planet is pretty much a pittance compared to that. Now, what does that mean for us? It means a lot, especially when you read a statement like this. The urban population in China is to reach 1.21 billion by 2050. It's a shift of more than 600 million people from the countryside to urban centers. That's 600. That's the largest movement of humanity ever. Now, it's difficult to imagine what that might be, actually, unless you go and you see China, or you make the effort to see what it means to be in a growing, fast-growing city, fast-growing area. Ed asked me to show a few projects out of our stable, from Arup Stable. We've got almost 8,000 people around the world, 70-something offices, 30-something countries, and picking just a few projects to share with you that relate to climate change, sustainable design, and where we might think things are going was not an easy task. But I thought of this as one of the most important ones. Because unsustainable urbanization is a threat to all of our long-term security. Not just here. We don't have to go and grab oil and gas from people. It's for everybody. It's really important that we realize this, and the Chinese realize this. And the governments at 3 different levels came to us as well as a developer and asked us, okay, we need to understand how to make sustainable cities. We know that. We cannot continue to grow as we like to. Because we would like to use our energy, and they didn't say this is